rich media and digital assets. In fact, many WCM products struggle with large volumes of digital assets, so you may actually be better off looking to an external system for this. Other capabilities to consider include the features available to provide or restrict access to different sections and components of the site, as well as content indexing and archiving, and version control. For the last phase of the content journey, you'll need to examine the product's delivery model. One of the most important things to consider here is how the product supports dynamic content. Even in a simple website, a change you make to one element may need to be reflected in multiple locations, and you need this to happen without forcing your user to manually enter it for each instance. Now, if your website is more interactive, then you'll want a WCM that can handle user-generated content, and that means treating that content just like any other content on the site, putting it through workflow, changing it, reusing it throughout the site, as well as on any other distribution channels that you may use. As your company grows, internationalization may also become an important consideration. Can the product support multiple multilingual sites in different locations? Will it be able to facilitate customization of your site to meet regional needs? You also need to consider how it would handle translations or integration with external translation services and scaling. Lastly, you'll want to make sure that your WCM provides the analytical and testing tools you'll need to allow constant improvement of your site. Many products offer multivariate and targeted A/B testing functionality as part of the product, but if you're already set on a particular third-party tool like Omniture or WebTrends, then be sure that the product is going to support integration with the tools. Now that we've talked a little bit about content on the site, think of what your users will need to be able to do all of these tasks easily and successfully. You should definitely plan for some extensive training. Many solutions don't really offer exceptional training, so you may need to create some documentation or some how-to videos of your own to walk your users through the common tasks that you're going to need them to do. We have some samples of these videos we can share with you if you like. Let's go back for a moment to what we said about dynamic content. Now, what if you could adjust your site in real time based on user behavior? This is what true WCM marketing automation is all about, the new frontier for mid-market products. Collecting session data and segmenting visitors allows you to present targeted content to your site visitors and lets you direct them through a personalized and therefore more effective experience on the site. Now that we've looked at the product, let's take a look at what you need to consider around the implementation. The first question to ask yourself is who will do the implementation? Is this something that you'll have done in-house, with the vendor's professional services, or with a partner organization? A first-time implementation in particular needs to be undertaken really carefully to avoid any issues which could become problematic in the long run. So you might not want to have this done in-house unless you're really sure that your technical resources are experienced with the product. Vendors' professional services can provide specific expertise, but may not be good for application support after implementation. Also, there may be integration issues with other products, so you really want to make sure they understand the business of application development and that they're focused on product and software development. Going with a partner organization for implementation is typically the safest option, but again, do make sure that the partner has product-specific expertise, demonstrated success in mid-market, and ideally experience in your particular industry or vertical. The partner needs to understand the entire product ecosystem and needs to be able to support your project throughout the delivery life cycle, including any post-delivery tasks. At eDynamic, we actually participate in developing an end-to-end website strategy for the project just to make sure that the client's needs throughout the entire project are going to be met. Another thing to look at when evaluating a potential implementation partner is their flexibility. For example, here at eDynamic, we offer a global delivery model, which allows you to choose from different combinations of on-site and offshore delivery options based on what's the best fit for your timeline and budget. Once you've shortlisted your vendor options, do spend some time researching the company and understanding its market presence before you make a decision. Take a look at visibility. Is this vendor well known in the market? Review the company financials for stability. What about ownership? Is the company public or private? The vendor's location is another thing that could impact your project. If the vendor doesn't have a global presence, you'll want to make sure that there are enough trained resources and other support available in your region. What kind of post-sales support does a vendor offer? Be sure that they have more than just some generic reference documents available and that you'll have a proper support structure in place to guide you through your entire project. Possibly more important than any of these, though, is just proven experience. So if the product is targeted to your particular vertical or business needs, then be sure to check that this focus is reflected in the vendor's client portfolio and make sure you go through both client and vendor references carefully before making a final decision. We've now gone through the factors that you should look at when selecting a WCM for your website. Beyond just specific technology and a features list for the product, you need to consider how it will be used, the total cost of the website, implementation options, and the vendor profile. Beyond helping you choose the right WCM, we also have material that will help you apply best practices to implement the WCM, as well as tips from the trenches to make sure you're not falling into the common traps that come up on these projects. For information more specific to your particular needs, you can get in touch with one of our consultants for a free evaluation on how to select a WCM solution or around the implementation process. You can reach us by email at contact@edynamic.net or by phone at 1-877-339-6264. Thank you so much for joining me today for this presentation.